Hey everybody, it's Gil here with the Sailing Vessel Dream Chaser. In last week's episode, went ahead and showed you some of the mundane tasks about living on land for a little while, which is something very unique to us after living on the boat for 8 years. Also went ahead and showed you a bit of a smoothie recipe I'm using to lose a little bit of weight as a meal replacement. A little bit about some organic groceries, organic farming. Just kind of a hodgepodge of subjects. But today I thought I'd take a time to do two different things. One, I want to share with you a little bit about our plans. As you know, I've been off the boat for a little bit of time. I'm getting ready to fly back home this weekend, and we're going to prep the boat for being away from it for just a couple of months as we begin kind of our plan and move and how we get that boat in some much more beautiful water than where it sits today. I also thought I'd take a couple of minutes and show you something that I'm a big fan of. I mentioned it a little bit in last week's video. I mentioned the company Java Press, but frankly, this is much more about coffee itself and just the way to treat customers. So I thought I'd share this a little bit. It's not at all a sponsorship thing at all. It just happens to be a company I'm pretty pleased with. And on top of that, I have the products from them that have allowed me to make tremendous coffee. I love my coffee in the morning, not only for the taste of the coffee, but frankly, it gives me, it's my replacement for meditation. It gives me a couple of Zen moments in the morning. I really like it. So I thought I'd go ahead and share that with you as well, and you might find it somewhat interesting too. I'm actually filming today's video right here in Seagirt, New Jersey, and I'm right along the Atlantic Ocean. I thought it was kind of an interesting scene, and quite frankly, I just needed to get back by some nice blue ocean water and get away from just being around grass and trees. I need my vitamin C and my ocean saltwater fix, and it's Memorial Day weekend, so this place is starting to fill up and people are already out here. This is kind of a private set of beaches just for a housing development, so not very packed like some of the other more public beaches are. Not sure how well you're gonna be able to see this, but see that big ship out there? It's probably about 150 foot ship, and I think it's some kind of a dredging operation. If you look, there's some floats that go out from that ship over here toward the shoreline. Bear with me while I pan over here for a second. All the way over here by the edge of the land. I don't know how well you can see it there, but there's a bunch of water and sand shooting out of the ground over there. And I believe what they're doing is capturing sand from out in the ocean, pulling it up here on the beach, and then trucking this around. And they're still doing some beach repairs and sort of fixes from Hurricane Sandy several years ago. Pretty interesting operation, even with these bulldozers up on these hills and whatnot. As I mentioned, we're kind of in an area where this is just this town and all these homes right here along the beach. So not very crowded like it would be if we were down by Seaside Heights, where the old Jersey Shore show was filmed, or Point Pleasant Beach or Brick Beach. But I thought I'd take a little bit of time and share with you a little bit about our plans on the sailboat. If you've been a viewer for a while, thank you very much for watching. If you're new to our channel, my wife and I do videos every single week about our lifestyle living aboard and sailing our classic sailboat with our 2 grandkids. You think that's kind of interesting content or something you might like to see? By all means, please consider subscribing. We do videos every single week on Friday afternoons. I think most people know we have our boat in southern Louisiana right now. We have a 51-foot Formosa, and we keep it off the south coast of Louisiana. We've been talking about wanting to go further east with the boat for quite some time. Sail over that way, the water's clearer, the weather's a little warmer. So for a lot of reasons, we wanted to make our way toward Florida so that we can make some sort of weekend and week-long trips down to the Keys and things like that. Our plan had always been over the summer to go ahead and look for a place to sail the boat over to in Florida. And initially, we started just looking at marinas to, rent a spot for a while, essentially do a lease for a year or something, and see how well we like it. And we were sort of looking in the Tampa Bay area, maybe something further south toward Punta Gorda. What we found were slips were really expensive. Literally for a live-aboard slip, somewhere between $1,000 and $1,200 a month for our size boat. It had us start thinking, man, I wonder if there's a better way. I wonder if we could find a waterfront lot with or without a house where we could keep the boat behind it and save that money of slip rent and put it toward a mortgage. We sort of figured it would be anywhere from a third to half of what the mortgage would be on a piece of property there. So that began the search. Several months back, we took a few trips over to Florida for a week or a weekend, and we would look at some properties just to get an idea of what's over there, see what areas we really like. We sort of like the Tampa Bay area all the way south toward like Fort Myers area. That's a wide area, and frankly, finding a waterfront property with a canal that had water deep enough for our boat, we need 6 feet for the keel, and we have a 65-foot mast, so there couldn't be any bridge or power line restrictions. certainly limited the number of waterfront properties available to us. It made the search a little harder, but that's okay. We're not in a hurry. The beauty of living on the boat is we can stay where we are, or we can hook up the camper and go stay somewhere in the camper. So with that in mind, we've spent a week in the Punta Gorda area, a week in Charlotte Harbor area, a week up in the Tampa Bay area, and the plan over spring break about 4 weeks ago was to spend a week in the Fort Myers area and really look closely at the Cape Coral area. Really a lot of canals there, and we thought, man, if we could find one that's deep enough, prices seem decent for homes. We don't actually want to live in the house, quite frankly. We thought we still want to live on the boat, and maybe we could Airbnb the house from time to time, which would be a great side benefit for us. And make a little money on it, and when we get ready to cruise off and take off from that location, sell the house and hopefully not lose any money on it. If you've watched the last couple of videos, you know my dad's health kind of deteriorated a little bit after some surgery. So I've been in New Jersey for 2 months now, and it's sort of slowed a few things down. We didn't get over there during spring break, but now that school's out and our oldest granddaughter is out of school, it's time to head down there. So I am actually flying home on Sunday. So we're going to spend a week doing that. When I fly home, I'll take a day and a half to 2 days to prep a few things that I needed to still do on the boat that Deb didn't do. I want to install a tertiary bilge pump switch and hook up some more things on my security cameras so they'll stream video anytime I want to take a look at what's going on there, and just a few more things I need to get done. We're planning on leaving Tuesday. We'll arrive in Fort Myers on Wednesday. We'll make a slow, leisurely trip out of it. And the goal is to go ahead and get everything set up by late Wednesday night in the RV spot. It's a nice place in North Fort Myers, treed area, beautiful sort of area. So it's close enough that from that location we can go out and check out some houses and properties. And most importantly, we're going to rent a boat a couple of different days, and we're going to go sound out the depths of some of these channels and canals behind the properties. After we get all set up, we're going to rent that boat, go out there and sound. I have several places marked on a chart and a map, and we'll check out what they are. We'll write down all the depths to make sure those areas are going to work for us, and then we'll give Deb that map. From there, I'm going to fly back to New Jersey. I don't know how much longer I'll be up this way, kind of taking care of my dad. It could be another month or two. But over the summer while I'm here, Deb is going to be able to now take that map and really start looking at properties and find ones that we think we like. We both are in agreement on what we're looking for. Waterfront house, 3 bedrooms at least, 4 would be even better. We would love a pool, but it's not a requirement. Deep water is important for us, and we have a couple of very specific things that are nice to have, like the direction and facing of the house for breeze and shade. So if Deb happens to find the house that we both think we really like, she would take video and photos of the whole thing, send me all the information. You likely know nowadays you can do almost all your house shopping right online and then just validate what you've already found. We're good about talking to neighbors, finding other people with boats on the same canals and interviewing and talking to them about depths and tides and what to expect. So hopefully we don't get ourselves into a situation where it's not all cracked up to what we expected it to be. Again, the beauty is we're not in a hurry. If we don't find what we're looking for, we won't get it. It's just that simple. We don't want to compromise on this because this is really specific for us. We're doing this for a place to park the boat, potential investment, and honestly, if we had a washer and dryer right there by the house, that would be a bonus, because that's the worst part about living aboard a boat is laundry, just because we don't have a washer and dryer on the boat. And quite frankly, we haven't planned on putting one on because those combo units are so inefficient with 4 of us on there. It would probably be running 24 hours a day just to keep up. For those of you that watch our channel, you know we don't have sponsorship deals or anything like that. If we talk about a product, it's because we've used it, it's really worked well for us, and we feel strongly that it might actually help somebody else. We don't get something out of these kinds of things other than maybe an Amazon affiliate link if it's something that we buy off Amazon, and you can as well, and you do it through one of our links. As viewers know, I almost always have a cup of coffee in my hand. I really do enjoy my coffee. And a few years ago, I decided I was going to go ahead and grind my own beans and make my own coffee. And I went online and I just looked for places to buy a coffee grinder, right? One that I could do hand cranking because we're on the boat, and I figured if we're at anchor or something, I don't want an electric one. And I found this one online at Amazon. It was by a company called Java Press, and I bought it. It was a little, $22 or something like that for this coffee grinder. And it was great. I went to the store, bought my beans. I would make my coffee. I still put it in my little drip machine, the whole bit. But that was it, right? And I thought, yeah, this is really cool. Well, I ended up breaking that burr grinder. I took it all apart and I didn't put it back together right. And then one day I was grinding coffee and it kind of stuck, so I ground it backwards and I ended up breaking one of the little pieces inside of it. 100% on me. So I called the company. I was like, hey, do you have this little piece I need? And unbelievable customer service, right? They called me back, and I sent an email, I guess it was. They called me back and they said, yep, we've got one. We'll send you, actually, let us just send you a replacement unit. And I got the replacement unit and I got the little part. So I ended up with essentially two of them. It was probably 3-4 years ago or something, and this was about the time when I really wanted to start getting better at writing. I wanted to improve our blog posts. I thought about maybe writing a book for work at some point. I just wanted to get better at it. I wanted more practice. So I reached out to a couple of different companies, and I said, hey, would you be open to me writing a blog post, like a guest blog post for your blog? And one of them I reached out to was Java Press, right? I'd been using their product so long. I really liked it. I thought their customer service was good, so I reached out to the owner of the company at the time. It's a small company. Reached out to the owner of the company, and he says, yeah, I'd love to chat with you about it. I'm out of town. I'm in New Orleans. I'll be back home, in whatever time, and we can chat. I'm like, oh, wow, I live near New Orleans. So I met the guy for coffee. It was really cool. We sat and had coffee and, talked about this blog post that I was thinking about. And, I ended up posting it on their, they ended up posting it on their blog. So it was cool. Anyway, so I met the guy, and really nice guy. He was telling me, that, he's going to start this deal where he's going to start doing a coffee subscription, right? It was all in the sort of early stages at that point. He was still shopping the idea around. And he ended up doing it. And, when that came out, I thought, oh, cool, I'll do a coffee subscription. I like coffee. I get my little one bag every month or something like that. So just before Mother's Day, Raj, the owner of the company, sent out his sort of regularly scheduled blog, and it had a picture of him and his mom. And it was this nice little touching thing about his mom. So, this is my mom. I call her Amma. Not Mama, but Amma. In the note, he said, tell me about your mom and something inspirational about her, and we'll send you a little something. And I replied back, mainly just because I had something in common with him on this. He calls his mom Amma, and I've always called my mom Mama Jama from the time I was a little kid. So every card or letter I ever write to her always starts, Mama Jama. So I wrote that back, and just kind of some nice words about how I learned so much from my mother, hard work and love and respect and treating people well and chasing your dreams, whatever they happen to be, even if it's not the norm, right? And, I just sent him a quick note. I'm like, hey, give your mom a big hug. I hope she has a great Mother's Day. And thanks so much for, reminding me of my mom just by the comment. And, yeah, so he sends me a note back. Cool, I'll send you a nice little gift. I'm like, Raj, not necessary at all. Thank you so much. I'll be darned if I didn't get home the other day at my dad's house where I'm staying, and there's a package sitting on the door from Amazon with a gift in it. And I'm going to show you what it is because I use these products all the time. And the irony of this is I have one of these things he sent me at home, and I use it regularly. But I didn't have one here at my dad's house. So I've been making coffee in his drip coffee maker, and he sent me something really nice here. So when I travel somewhere, even for work sometimes, I typically bring my coffee, and this is coffee I do buy from Java Press. It's part of a little subscription. They send me this little 12-ounce, so 3/4 of a pound bag. I think I only get one a month or something like that, or every other week. And that's my little coffee grinder I've been telling you about. I've been using that thing for years. I love it. Well, I also have one of these French presses on the boat. I actually have one on the boat and one on the camper, so we don't have to move them back and forth if we're doing any traveling. And love the thing, right? But while I've been here at my dad's, I've been grinding my coffee here and then having it in the drip machine. So he sent me this thing the other day, and there it was sitting on the step. I was so blown away. So here it is outside the package, right? I mean, I think most people know exactly what a French press is. You add your boiling water in it, you add your coffee grinds right into the water, you let it perk for about 4 minutes or so, you push this plunger down slowly, and then you pour your coffee out. And the plunger has a screen on the bottom that keeps the grounds from, pouring out. But So thank you, Raj, and the entire JavaPress team. I love these cool stories. It's a small company. Him and his brother designed that little coffee grinder while he was still working full time. Ended up, selling really well. He ended up quitting his job, a regular full time job, and does this full time. Has a coffee subscription. Sells these French presses and a couple other small coffee accessories. Their customer support is phenomenal. Their blog talks about all these ways to improve your coffee, right? Ways to make it better, the proper temperature, the proper water mixture, all those little nuances about French press coffee, pour over coffee, any old way you're going to do it, espressos. And it's just a cool story. It's a cool company. So Raj, thank you very much. I really do appreciate you sending this over. And the nice thing is I get to leave this here so that they can enjoy it here since I have one already at home. So thanks, Raj. So as I said before, and this is not a sponsorship. I don't get paid for this. I'm not getting a cut of the things that, somebody might buy here. But, so often we run into companies that just do business average. And that's not the case with JavaPress. They're phenomenal. Like, their customer support is good. The fact that the owner of the company will send you an email and chat with you, and they take care of you, and they want to make sure that you're enjoying the product, right? It's not just about, they sold you a coffee grinder or they sold you this thing. They want to make sure you know how to use it and that you know how to improve on it and that you can have a better cup of coffee. And, it's for us that are coffee nerds, right? Everybody has their thing. You could be a boating person. You can be an RV or a motorcycler. You can be a foodie. Like, whatever your thing is, you want to get better at whatever that is. You want to learn more about it. And they do all those things. So it's really a cool business. And, if you are in the market for something like that, I'd recommend them. JavaPress, just like it sounds, with an E on the end. So JavaPresse. I'll put links down in the description to their product on Amazon or whatever. But yeah, phenomenal company. So again, I don't want this to be a commercial. It's just from time to time you run into a company you like so much, you're like, I got to say something about that. So it's funny, I think I've talked about this before, probably not when I do this on camera, but every morning I grind my coffee. It takes me a minute and a half or so to hand grind it, another 4 to 5 minutes to boil the water and brew the coffee and pour it. And it's my time in the morning just to sort of, level set. Consider it my equivalent of meditating. I just can't seem to meditate, but I can clear my head. I'm not necessarily thinking about a whole lot. Maybe I'm planning certain things that I want to make sure I get done that day. Maybe I'm just having some thoughts of gratitude for whatever's going on in my life. And it's a cool thing. I always call it my zen moment of the morning. I guess you could call it getting grounded. Well, that was a dad joke if there ever was one, huh? So there we go. As the coffee grinds stop, it just gets real easy to turn. And the cool thing is there's a little viewfinder. I can kind of see how much coffee I have going on in there. So the process is painfully simple. Take the handle off, open up your French press. This is where you put the coffee in, and here's where you take the coffee out. It's just a matter of pouring my coffee grounds down in my press, setting that aside, and we'll just add our hot water to this. And normally I like to do this with a gooseneck tea kettle, but what I have is his coffee grounder. The reason I like to use a gooseneck tea kettle is when you're making your coffee, the best thing you want to do is wet all the grounds and then let it sit for about 30 seconds or so. They call it blooming the coffee. And what you'll notice is you see the bubbles in there? What's happening is all the gases are coming off of the coffee bean. So we want to let those settle off of there for just a minute, and then we'll continue the pour. Now we're just going to pour the proper amount of water into the French press. This gives me about 2 of my large cups full. And we put our lid on here. Now, I'm doing that really just to keep it warm, and then I'm going to push the plunger down just till the water comes up through the top, and that's to make sure that the grinds stay in the actual water itself. So I'm going to let that steep for about 4 minutes. Now that that's steeped for about 4 minutes, I'm going to go ahead and slowly push down the plunger. You basically just push this plunger down nice and slowly. You want to take about 20 to 30 seconds to push it all the way down, so it is a very slow motion. And then you just put your finger right here on top of it, or on the lid, while you grab the handle, and you pour yourself a cup of coffee. And that's it. Well, I've got my Operation Iraqi Freedom Cup. My sister served, not me. Proud of her every day for those things she's done. Enjoying my morning cup of coffee. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, do us a favor, give it a thumbs up and a like. Next week, I go back to Louisiana. We start to make our plans for this whole move to Florida. I'll share a little bit of information on why we're doing it and what our ultimate plans are, because we intend to get that boat sailed south into clear water and warmer weather.